Today we are going to see a brilliant game which was played by Mikhail Tal in 1992. A game which he proves once again the activity and imagination can crush even the best defense. So consider the game which was played by Tal and we learned a lot of things in this game. So let's start the game. The game starts with e4, c5, knight f3 and knight c6. The Sicilian defense. Bishop b5 was played and d6 castles bishop d7 and rook e1, which controls the semi-open e5, right? Black played in knight f6, just a developing knight move to attack the pawn of e4, right? White played in c3, preparing d4, right? Black play a6 and white play bishop a4. c4 was played to control the squares d3 and b3. White played in d4, just attacking the center, right? Which controls the three key squares, right? Black played in c d4 and bishop g5 was played, just a developing move, the bishop to g5, and black continued with e6. Queen d3 was played and bishop e7 bishop f6 and gf6, right? Here, black take the g pawn to just open the g file to attack the white king, right? But engine shows that it's a equal position, right? It does not make any forceful changes for white. It's just a simple one. And let's see how the game continues because the game played by white was the magician. White continued with bishop c6. He sacrifices or exchanges the another bishop with the knight, right? Now, black has two bishops, right? A bishop, but white has two knight. But the d1 knight was not well placed, and f3 knight was just not controlling so much squares, right? These two squares are controlled by f6. So it's a complicated for white and sorry for black, right? White continued with c4. Black played the move castles. The G8 plan was forgiven by black, right? He just forgives the G files and just the castles. Right? Continues with knight c3 and developing to h8. Yeah, he does not forget it. Right? He puts his king on h8 and brings his rook on queen and another rook on the g file to attack the white king. White play with d1, just making a pressure on d6, just controlling the d5, e5, right? So g8, queen e3, queen f8, just controlling the h6 square, right? Knight d4 was played. It's just a great move, right? Just bring the knight on d4, right? This juicy square which attacks c6, and which in future can place a knight f5, which can attack e7, controls g7 and h6. There are so many possibilities, right? Black continued with rook c8 and f4 was played, bishop d7 and b3 just to support the c4, right? Bishop d8 was played. Was key to, right? To bring the bishop on b6 just to bring the knight with the queen. But white played in the knight f3. b5 was played, queen a7, attacking the a6 pawn. Bishop c7 was played, queen a6, bc4 and b4 was played, right? Just to make a queen, right? With a connected a pawn and b pawn, right? Queen g7 to attack the g2, right? As mate in one. Just some simply defended by rook e2 or rook d2, right? Knight h4 also can be played from then queen g4 d3, right? Let's see how the white continues. White play g3. Yeah, he does not play any moves like Rook E2, rook D2. He just played in rook G3, right? But black has so many options, right? To play H5, H6. He placed the rook D5 to attack in center, right? A D5 and bishop takes F4. Let's see a recap, right? He placed in D5, not only just attack the not only just attack the E4, right? Or to play D4. He just opened the bishop file, right? The bishop diagonal file was open. Knight takes, but bishop takes F4 was great. King F2 was played, then F5, E, G takes F4, Queen takes C3, right? Queen D6 was played, and Bishop A4 just to attack the D1 rook. Rook D4 was played. It's a great move, just push the rook to D4. I'm going to play rook to D1 to make a triple pieces on the same file. Rook G7 was played, and D takes E6. Bishop C6 was played to attack the F3, right? Knight G5 was played, and rook takes G5. I think it's a big blunder, right? Here comes the final move. Queen E5 check. Rook G7. I think here black is the attack. Rook D8 check. Just giving a check and diverting the other rook to D8 by discover attacking C3 queen, right? Rook D8 and Queen C3. F6 was played. E7. A8. Just Queen F6. Bishop E4 was played, and Rook G1 just printing the rook. Rook A2 check and King E1. Black loses, right? The next move is going to be G7. Queen takes G7, right? The queen takes G7 will be the next move. So black here is so from this game we have understood that it is important to attack the black king or the opponent's king rather than center play or corner play. Just go for the king. So let me see you in the next video. Subscribe Checkmate City for more videos.